Hello. Today I'm going to be talking about assistive technology and the program WordQ. So I have the WordQ toolbar open here on my screen. Now WordQ is a program that does offer speech to text and text to speech options for it, and it also has word prediction. But what I'm going to be looking at today is the word list feature with this. So I have on my screen here the parts of microscope. So if I was working with a class and I was wanting them to start to introduce this topic, have it with them electronically start to work it if they were working on this, I would introduce the word queue features for them with the word list. Now, what happens with this is that we do have features here and we have topics in here, and I have the microscope feature in here. So now I have added the microscope onto here. So let's say that I'm looking at the parts of my microscope here. I want to look at A. I go down there and I'm thinking, you know what? I think that that's the tube feature, and I can see in my bar at the top up here, it pops up there. Oh, tube, I'm going to pick that as my first one. So now I'm going to look at B. What am I going to think that B is? Now this is a bit more of a challenging one, but I remember from my notes in class and the video we watched about the microscope that I think it's it's the ocular. So there, look, number one, and I can actually just use the hotkey and press the number one, and it'll put the word in there, ocular. Now, I'm trying to look around for some of the ones. Maybe I know what C is. I'm going to go down and I'm going to take a guess, but I think it's the nose. Oh, the nose piece. I'm going to go with that one. So I'm going to pick the nose piece for this one. So what happens is that we have a list created for the student that gives them the different language or something like that. So the way that it works is that if I click on options here and I go to my words, so now I have this feature in WordQ, and I go over to topics. Now, this is my topic here. I have all this information listed on this piece here. So, but I've noticed that I'm missing a couple of the keywords. So I'm going to add those in. So I'm missing course focus. So we're going to add that word to the list. So you see that it populated into the list. I'm also missing fine focus. So I need to add that one to it. And I believe I'm missing the base too. So I'm going to add that one to it. So now you can see I can add any of these words here. So, and I close this. And now I'm going to go back. I may need to click on my word button here. I'm going to go back down to here, and I'm going to think that K might be I think that that one might be the fine. Oh, look at that. I just added in fine focus. So I'm going to pick number one for that. So I think that K is the fine focus. So that's just giving you a brief overlay of how the WordQ program works. Now, the advantage of this program is that you can allow students to create their study notes or their list of the parts of the microscope. They can have an electronic copy of this. When it comes to assessment, you would have students who are working at grade level would have an example like this. They wouldn't get the word queue. They would have to answer the questions without using word queue. Then if you have students who are on a modified program, they could use the word queue program. They could add in the list that you provided for them for that. So if we just look at that for a second, maybe we'll move that over. We'll see what's happening here. So they can go in, they can have the list. They're on a language modified program. It'll allow them to have a list. They still need to know. So one of the disadvantages of it is that they still need to know the sound of it, or they need to know the spelling of it. So if they can't remember that the eyepiece or the ocular, if they can't remember that it's called the ocular or starts with no, it may be a bit challenging for them. but hopefully they've reviewed it, they can recall that information, and they can start to stand it out, and the word prediction program will help them do that. So I think there are some positives and some challenges with this assistive technology, but I do think it's valuable for students in something like a science class.